Hi everyone, I'm Harry Cicma. It's now that time in the broadcast when we check out the matches of the year. Let's head to the Mediterranean, Madrid, Spain, as the future Hall of Famer Rafael Nadal was taking on his fellow countryman Carlos Alcaraz. Both these players hail from the island of Mallorca, one of the most heavily contested matchups of the year, the quarterfinals of Madrid. This Masters 1000 event is considered to be one of the most prestigious of the year on the beautiful red clay of Spain. Alcaraz was hot off his Miami Open Championship win on the hard courts of Florida, and he storms out to a 6-2 victory in the first set against Nadal, thanks to a display of masterful ground strokes. Rafael would answer the call in the second set, working his heavy topspin forehand to perfection, as he takes the second 6-1. But in the third, Alcaraz takes control, and on match point, he showcases the speed and agility and connects for the forehand passing shot up the line. An upset for the ages. Carlos Alcaraz prevails 6-4 in the third set, advancing to the Madrid semifinals. And now let's make our way to Vero Beach, Florida for the Futures Tour, one of the most intimate and well-run events on the calendar. The Mardy Children's Foundation Championship at the Boulevard in Vero Beach. The finals proved to be an all-American affair as Siku Bangura was facing the young rising star Ethan Quinn. Both these players competing in their third career finals in Vero Beach. Bangura prevails in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3 for the title, en route to the championship. So once again, an exciting battle there at the Boulevard in Vero Beach. Congratulations to USA team captain Mardy and tournament director Randy Walker on another successful tournament. That's it for the matches of the week. I'm Harry Cicma. There's much more world tennis coming up next.
What is Highlight H2H? The fastest ball sport in the world, and so much more. It's like playing baseball if you had to catch and throw with just the gloved hand. The ball travels up to 150 miles per hour inside a 3-wall court that measures just 120 feet long by 33 feet wide. Simply put, the object of the game is to catch one more ball than your opponent, or better yet, fire the ball so it can't be caught. A highlight ball is slightly smaller than a baseball and harder than a hockey puck. Highlight players will smash into the sidewall and dive onto the concrete ground without a single layer of padding just to get to it. The ball is lethal, the game is lightning fast, and the action is limitless. Place your bets on the world's fastest and most dangerous sport at betrivers.com. It's the game you didn't know you needed to know. This is Highlight H2H.
Gorgeous day in Miami. Hello everyone and welcome to Magic City Casino. I'm your host Harry Cicma and welcome to another episode of World Tennis TV alongside one of the legends in international tennis, a great coach, also an entrepreneur, Yuri Batoni, a good friend of mine. Yuri.
Harry, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us here on World Tennis, and we have so much we're going to talk about. Yuri's involved with so many different things. But let's first start about your connection to this sport. I mean, you've coached Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, you played at IMG with Nick Bollettieri, became great friends with Roger Federer as a young boy. So just tell us about tennis and really what it means to you.
Well, first of all, Harry, thanks very much. You know, it's always a pleasure to be here and be interviewed by you. Well, very simple. In '92, I was seen by Nick playing, and I got offered to play at Academy. And that's my journey started in IMG. At that time was the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy, the famous NBTA. So that's, you know, I guess it was the dream of every little kid to be able to play at Academy. That's how we call it, the Academy. And that's when I started. Later on, I think it was, I was 18, 19. That's when I got injured. And as Harry knows very well, we already talked about this many times. It was very hard. and going through lots of hardship that probably led me to develop the Y system that nowadays I've developed at a level that everybody can enjoy at every level. So in one way was hard, but in the other way was a very, I would say, an enriching moment, because it forced me to actually work on something for myself that later on I can give back to the community.
Amazing. So, you mentioned the Y system. As I mentioned to you, you've hit with some of the world's best, and you did coach Arantxa Sanchez. So tell me about the Y system, which is your brand, and tell me about how it helps some of the world's greatest players.
The Y system is a very simple tennis system. It's a visual tennis system. I basically guide the actual footwork and how to get to the ball in the most efficient way. So for beginner intermediate, is probably very helpful. Now at a high level, there's still players, doesn't matter what level they are, they still have to improve. There's still room to improve. We can see very well Roger. Roger would have not played and stretched his career another extra 10 years if there was not Nadal and Djokovic that actually pushed him and made him work harder and made him reach a higher level. So same thing, when you're coaching a player, there's always room for improvement. So the Y system is not only a visual pattern for basic movements, but it's also a way of approaching training, a match, and life. That's the way I see it.
That's amazing. So, looking back at your time at Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy, that was always a dream. For me as a kid growing up playing tennis, to get recruited by Nick Bollettieri, to be training on those courts at the top level. I mean, I love that picture of you and Roger Federer in the dorms, like when you were a young kid in the tournaments. So tell me about your experience at the academy. What's it like to be a top junior in the world with Courier, Sampras, Bollettieri, and all those guys?
Well,
or I should say Agassi, Courier.
Agassi. I would say my big hero when I was little, was growing up, has always been Andre Agassi. So the first time I saw him at the academy, I couldn't believe. I had him next to me. So I consider myself extremely lucky of having lived the academy during a time of the core. I would say that was the core when the actual academy started becoming world renowned with these big players. And for a little kid to see how these players train every day was unbelievable. So it pushed me to dream at a higher level and maybe one day become a professional player. Or not everyone can become a professional player at a high level, but there's also other ways to be at a high level, being a coach, a hitting partner, a trainer, whatever. But that's very, very. The academy was very important. Was a good stepping stone to get to the higher level. If you know Nick and you've spent enough time with Nick, you understand that you can understand the way that the respect and the way that he handles his relationship is superior, is very unique, and that was his edge. Then of course, like all of us, throughout the time we learn and we develop and we get, we learn things. But the most important thing is what comes out from our inner, and Nick was extremely good in that, and that's how he's the best and the biggest motivator. Then of course he created a dream for every kid that nowadays, that now it's IMG, still is the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy for us, and he's the one that started this trend. But Nick had an edge in marketing his product at a completely different, higher level, and then look how many players he had developed.
Amazing. And how was it being there with Andre? I mean, we all know Agassi's great story, well documented. He was kind of a rebel, greatest talent in the history of tennis. Then he fell to the bottom, but then he came back, married Steffi Graf. It's just the best story. So what was it like being there with Andre during those days of the long hair, painting the nails, the jeans on the court? I mean, what was that like?
I'm going to define it with one word: wild.
Wild.
Wild. There's nothing like those times. Actually, today before coming here, I was thinking and I was wishing that those times, part of those times, because Harry, I knew that he was going to interview me and asking me about certain things about the academy in the past, and I wish if I could go back for only 10 minutes and have those times, I would do it in a heartbeat, because they were very unique. They were raw, they were real, and they were wild. So Andre was the number one of this wildness, and everybody. But not only players, also the coaches. Everybody was very unique. And when I go back to the academy nowadays, and I still see few of those old-timers, it's like bringing back memories. Because it's change, like everything. It's development, and you go forward, and things change. So that soul, unfortunately, got lost because certain individuals have left the academy. Some other ones has passed away, unfortunately. And recently, in the last 2 years, we had few of the big guys leaving us, and so a little bit of that soul has gone, and I miss it.
Hi everyone, I'm Harry Cicma. You're watching World Tennis. It's now that time in the broadcast when we go through some of the best players of all time. And in this portion of the show, we're going to focus on the best strokes in the history of men's tennis. We're going to start with the serve. There's no question that the big serving American John Isner has the all-time greatest serve in the history of men's tennis. When he's on fire, it's unreturnable. It doesn't matter who you are returning, you can't touch that ball with the trajectory and the pace. So that is the best serve of all time. As for the forehand, I was deciding between Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal. I love Rafa's big topspin. He can dominate with that lefty spin and also the inside-out pace, but I'm going to give it to Roger Federer. When he was in his prime, his forehand was unstoppable and would literally paralyze his opponent. As for the best return of all time, it's between Andre Agassi and Novak Djokovic. I'm going with the elder statesman, Agassi, the Hall of Famer. I've never seen a return like his. The harder the serve, the better the return with Agassi. He definitely has the greatest return of all time. And volleys, this one was easy. John McEnroe from America. When he just gets a racket on the ball, he can put it away from any angle on the court with his volley. It's like poetry in motion. Johnny Mac with the best volleys. And how about the best backhand of all time? This one I'm going to give to Djokovic. No matter how high the topspin to his backhand, he has no problems handling it. That's one of the problems that Djokovic has given Nadal so many big issues. And finally, let's go with the best half volley of all time. Sort of a unique stroke, but it's going to Pat Rafter. Rafter's volleys, very similar to McEnroe. He can cover the net better than anyone, so I'm giving the best half volley to Patrick Rafter. I'm Harry Cicma, you're watching World Tennis, and those are the best strokes in the history of the men's game.
Well, many players learn and play tennis in the parks and public recreation, so especially new and returning players. So we're just trying to make the experience, really a great experience for new players and people to come out, and I think that's how we can make the most, impact on players and also make it accessible for all.
We really work with every park throughout the state to help identify challenges, opportunities, and the support that we can provide to help them grow and deliver. Now, with more players coming into the game than ever before, parks is really an important part of our ecosystem, and we're going to continue to support that important aspect of Florida tennis going forward.
Before they got here, we were struggling. We were absolutely struggling. getting somebody to work the center, getting people to come out and play, controlling the play out here. We had no control. When they took over, things have changed so much. This has become a place where people want to come and play tennis. It's packed during the day. I mean, all we get is compliments. Since they've taken over.
USTA over at Orlando has been a great support system for us out here, but they've really allowed myself and my staff to really put our fingerprint on any ideas or programming that we may want. We're able to do that and try new things and think outside of the box, and it's really paid off in the long run.
For our community in Cocoa Beach to have this as a resource is fantastic. The USTA coming in and making the investment that they made has just been great for the club and great for the community.
You're being integrated into the community, and that kind of makes it feel a little bit more special, because it's not like you go somewhere and you play and then you go home. No, your home's here.
One of the things that's great about USTA Florida is they have a lot of big focus on community programming and development. So here in Gainesville, that's a really big priority for our community, is being able to have a lot of different outreach and programs to diverse populations, and they've been more than willing to come in and support those programs and our community.
We're here to grow tennis, not just USTA Florida programs, and I'm excited to get out there, talk to our providers and all of our facilities, and see what more we can do to grow this sport together and to keep Florida tennis at the forefront of tennis in America.
Hello everyone, I'm Harry Cicma, and welcome to your PPA Pro Tour update presented by Jigsaw Health. We are now heading to the beautiful mountains of Utah for the Red Rock Open as we begin with the Men's Professional Doubles Championship. Colin and Ben Johns were on a mission as they battled AJ Kohler and Riley Newman in front of a packed stadium court, standing room only, and the Johns brothers would not disappoint the PPA faithful, all tied at 2 games. Championship point, Colin and Ben Johns prevail 3 games to 2 as they are your Red Rock Men's Doubles champions. And the competition was at a premium on Stadium Court for the Mixed Doubles Championship match. So let's now head back to primetime for that finals battle. Ben Johns and Anna Lee Waters going head-to-head with Riley Newman and Catherine Parenteau. Ben and Anna Lee were clicking on all cylinders as they take a 2-1 lead thanks to impressive winners like this. On match point, Ben Johns steps up with the poach and put away for the powerful forehand. En route to the championship, Johns and Waters are victorious 3-1 as they repeat their Red Rocks Open Championship. So another festive atmosphere and wonderful event in the mountains of Utah for the Red Rock Open. That's it for this PPA Pro Tour update presented by Jigsaw Health. I'm Harry Cicma, and we'll see you on the courts.
I would say that tennis is a sport that really can keep you occupied for your whole life. USTA Florida's Love to Learn, Love to Play is a great program for adult beginners. When you come into the sport as an adult, you get to learn a new skill, you get to experience the strategy of tennis, and you also get to make a bunch of new friends, which is usually the best part.
I have met a lot of great people out here, and I'm going to continue to play as long as I can.
The thing that's different about Love to Learn, Love to Play is we link you to our tennis community immediately. We have ambassadors come out, so it's not as scary. Instead of just an instructor that you feel might be, maybe judging you or worrying about your strokes, Our ambassadors come out and they play with you.
The Love to Learn, Love to Play programs is unique because it does enlist the help of local volunteers to really help those players get engaged with the sport. So as the teaching pros' time is crunched because of all these new players that they're teaching tennis to, the ambassadors really can help offset some of that time by creating opportunities for players to still continue to learn the soft skills of tennis without the teaching pro being directly involved.
You can start a sport like this at any point in your life, and you can play this for the rest of your life. We have people out here playing in their 80s and competing, so don't let age be a barrier, and take away that this is a community and a family.
I started the program and I went through it. I had never picked up a racket before in my life, and fell in love with tennis.
When I heard about it, I thought it was an incredible idea. I learned as an adult. I didn't play as a kid, and it's hard to pick up tennis, but with Love to Learn, when you learn how to play at the same time that you're learning how to hit the balls, and you kind of have a group to start with, and you can sort of start practicing together and go on from there.
What is Highlight H2H? The fastest ball sport in the world, and so much more. It's like playing baseball if you had to catch and throw with just the gloved hand. The ball travels up to 150 miles per hour inside a 3-wall court that measures just 120 feet long by 33 feet wide. Simply put, the object of the game is to catch one more ball than your opponent, or better yet, fire the ball so it can't be caught. A highlight ball is slightly smaller than a baseball and harder than a hockey puck. Highlight players will smash into the sidewall and dive onto the concrete ground without a single layer of padding just to get to it. The ball is lethal, the game is lightning fast, and the action is limitless. Place your bets on the world's fastest and most dangerous sport at betrivers.com. It's the game you didn't know you needed to know. This is Highlight H2H.
Hi everyone, Harry Cicma here in the paradise of the car industry, Albrecht Auto, helping to make world tennis possible yet again over 10 years, thanks to my good friend George Albrecht Jr. George, thank you so much.
Thanks, Harry. It still work. I don't know about paradise.
It's amazing.
Nice stores, but...
I love it. I love it. Woburn Toyota, also Infinity of Norwood, Infinity of Nashua, 7 dealerships, 3 auto body shops. Really a great spot, and you love helping the community. You guys are a big company, but you really like to focus on the customer.
Yeah, let's say big, but not too big. I think it's an important thing for people to recognize when they're buying or servicing their car. You know, you have a lot of different choices in the general area, but to have a Boston family-owned enterprise that isn't crazy huge. We're not a national company. Your money isn't going to Wall Street or Texas or some other place besides here. You know, it's staying here. We live here, spend it here, donate, support charities here, schools, the whole thing. It's all about living and being in this community, which is a great one.
It's amazing. And also your whole team. I mean, I know you've really taught your team to give back. I mean, talk about how important the team and family is here at Albrecht as well within the company.
Absolutely. You know, this business is really all about people, not about cars so much. And, you know, it's all about how you treat people. And that goes from, you know, employees to vendors to the general community and, of course, to our customers.
Well, I love Albrecht Auto. Thanks so much. I know the tennis community appreciates it as well.
Thank you, Harry.
George Albrecht Jr. helping to make world tennis possible. Thanks for joining us. Hello everyone, I'm Harry Cicma. Welcome to the City of Dreams. We're here in New York for another episode of World Tennis. Let's head back to the US Open and the grounds of the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center for another epic matchup in the history of this great event. Two players, Alexander Zverev from Germany and Dominic Thiem from Austria, going head-to-head in the finals, both looking for their first major singles title. This came down to the wire, a fifth set. Let's head to the highlights for yet another US Open Classic.
Game, set and match, team. 3 sets to 2. 2-6, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3, 7-6.
Well, there's no question that was one for the ages. Dominic Thiem fighting the nerves and cramping and winning his first major title in New York. And that wraps up this week's edition of World Tennis. For the rest of the staff and everyone in the tennis community, I'm Harry Cicma. Thanks for joining us. So long from New York, and we'll see you next time.